Hey, this is Daryl as a service from regarding Office 365. We're talking with Simon Terry. How are you today, Simon?
I'm really well, Daryl. It's great to be chatting to you.
Yeah, so last time we talked, it was a panel discussion, I believe, about meeting etiquette, and I transgressed some of the etiquette, even organising the webcast. That was uh, I did it on purpose, of course.
It
But
was all a learning experience, Daryl. It's
oh
all a
yeah,
learning experience.
that's right. Yeah. Um, we're both going to Ignite, and you're one of the contributors to the regarding Office 365 team. You're always writing and doing things, and it's great to have some of your posts, aggregated and together with our content. So, yeah, you've got a few sessions that you're going to be talking on. In fact, one of them is a pre-day workshop. Can you tell us a bit about that? The one with Scott Ward.
Yeah, so Scott and I have been asked to coordinate a pre-day for Yammer customers at Ignite to spend a day focusing on the story of Yammer and how organizations can really accelerate the value of Yammer and really accelerate their adoption journey. What we're going to be looking at over that day is really some of the key strategies that you can put in place to get the maximum value out of a Yammer network, some of the key use cases that organizations have explored, and some stories from some leading practitioners, both MVPs and customers, around how to get the value out of Yammer. So it's a good in-depth session. It's on the Sunday before Ignite, and an opportunity to spend some real quality time exploring the potential of Yammer.
Now, I do like those workshops where real stories are brought in that people can relate to, because often when you're starting out with anything, it's a case of, do you have a template, or can you talk to me about some examples, or what worked and didn't work, and you and I know that Yammer has strengths, it has weaknesses, and you've got to learn to exploit it. But I know one key thing that you talk about, Simon, is the importance of culture in anything that you're putting into an org. So what sort of part does that play in the workshop for the pre-day?
Yeah, well, look, it plays a key part, obviously, Daryl, because culture's key to the effectiveness of a Yammer network, and particularly to how organizations adapt to this whole digital workplace story. But what we're kind of focused on is not culture as an abstract. And that's what we want to dive into in the pre-day. We want to talk about, I've got a view that culture is measured by the interactions people have around an organization. And Yam is just one of those patterns of interactions. The other workloads of Office 365 are other ways people can interact and collaborate. And I think the powerful thing that those interactions give you is a way to set up that future culture you need for digital effectiveness, and to explore that in really tangible ways. So we're not talking about posters, we're not talking about big value statements, we're talking about the specific things people need to do to work in more digital, more collaborative, more agile, and more effective ways in their organizations. And that's what we'll be exploring in that workshop.
So it sounds like it's going to be quite practical and definitely worth attending. Now,
Yeah.
there's a couple of other things. It looks like you're setting yourself a challenge to do something per minute. I'm just reading that title there. It says breaking down the value of Yammer posts, 20 things to do in Yammer in 20 minutes.
Yep. So this is a theatre session, and if anyone knows the theatre sessions at Ignite, they're high energy. There's a lot going on. I think the last time I did one, I was competing with drummers from one of the stands nearby. So, yep, I'm going for 20 things to do with a Yammer post. So this is based around an idea that I explored in a blog, in a video some time ago, but really around that all the value of Yammer can be expressed in just looking at one post. And so what I want to do is kind of show people a bit of the higher level, what goes in the box when you're using Yammer, what are the features for, how can you explore them? And I'm blasting through that in 20 minutes. And it's going to be a bit of fun because, we've got to make it entertaining.
Yeah, it sounds like one to break it down and pause and go, right, now let's just talk about that one for a bit.
I'm sure there'll be lots, as it's on the theatre, it's on the theatre floor, so there'll be lots of time for Q&A afterwards as I wander away and the next person rolls in for the theatre. So
Yeah, yeah, that's how they go. That's how they roll. It's quite fun. So yeah, that final one, Yammer as a platform for digital transformation. You're talking with Kai, and I haven't said his surname before. Can you fill me in there?
So I'm alongside Kai Kaya from Swoop Analytics, and also Scott Ward is joining us in that one as well. And so this is a kind of merger of some work that Scott and I have been doing around how organizations leverage Yammer for that digital transformation story when they're starting to look to bring digital practices and digital ways of working, and really to start to really aggressively push the envelope of changing their organization. And it's all around this idea of, if you're going to go through a kind of digital transformation, you don't want to be setting up communities for every aspect of your change initiative. Actually, what you want to be doing is leveraging a standing platform that unites and engages all of that change. And so Scott and I are putting together various pieces of work. We're doing some real customer scenarios of how this plays out. And Kai's coming in to talk about how you measure and track that journey using the Swoop Analytics platform and some of the things they've learned by looking at benchmarks and best practices across clients all around the world.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear that piece coming in because people often want to know what's the return on that investment that they've put in.
Yeah.
Is this actually getting through? Are people actually using it? We see some of the stats come in through the new analytics that are now available in the dashboard, and it's very much around how many people are reading posts and replying to posts and those sorts of things. But I know that Swoop goes a lot deeper and gives you some further insights into to how people are truly using the platform to change their workplace. So
Yeah.
good to know. Now, is there anything else that you're planning to attend, or you're I know because you've got certain area of expertise, but we often like to mix a little, learn a bit something new, and maybe talk to a few people that we might not normally cross paths with.
Absolutely. I mean, I found Ignite last year just an amazing opportunity to sit in different domains of expertise, and there's so much breadth across Office 365 that there's always things to learn about new features, new platforms, how to use security. There's so much going on and it's a massive event and a great opportunity to connect with experts from all around the world. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity to refresh my understanding of the breadth of the suite, to meet and connect with some people, whether they're customers, partners, or product teams, and explore all of that, because there's a lot going on. And I'm definitely going to your MVP session there, and I'll be throwing some hard questions for the floor.
Oh, well, that's good. Thankfully, I'm just the adjudicator and facilitator there. I will try and help answer, but you saw my comments about two things. Only 3 Yammer puns are allowed per speaker, and talks must be, well, responses and questions must be short, or otherwise I'll have my cattle prodder out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, it's just one thing. Actually, as you were saying that about meeting new people and asking questions, I didn't ask any of the other team members that I interviewed, but what is your trick for starting up that conversation with someone that you don't know, but you were just in the same session? How do you start to bridge that gap and open people up?
So, I mean, the biggest thing for me is to ask the really most obvious question, which was, what did you take away from that session? And it's amazing how much that is just a simple opener, and often people will then start to explore from that point, what they plan to do with it, how that connects to their role. So you can ask them questions about those things, and you can ask them where they're going next, and pretty soon you get a really rich understanding of that person, and you've built a whole bunch of rapport on which you can, extend the conversation or take it in a new direction.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and I think that's a really good tip. Firstly, get over the fear, be a little brave, and just reach out and talk. And then there's just that simple question. You'll find something that you can relate to, especially if you've just gone to the same session.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So thank you, Simon, for joining us. So we're wrapping this up in terms of a big blog post with the whole team. So looking forward to seeing you there in person and spending a bit of time with you. And that was regarding Office 365. Follow us on Periscope throughout the event as we do quite a bit of streaming. So re-Office 365. We're also pushing some content to YouTube. We'll be blogging posts, and we'll be doing a few things in the techcommunity.microsoft.com as well. So thanks again, Simon, and we'll see you again. Bye for now.
Thanks, Darren.